Can we call to order the regular Township Board meeting for Wednesday, May 10th for the Cockrell Township Board? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Angie, can I have roll call attendance, please?
Tom.
Yes.
Sue. Here. Kathy.
Here.
Angie here. Mary Agnes.
Here. Okay, we have agenda approval. The only thing I want to change is on consent agenda number 3C2. It should read 38 checks. That was a typing error. We have a motion to approve the agenda as presented with that correction.
I have something
Oh,
too.
okay.
For the, this is, applies to the minutes as well, right? For any changes or?
Oh, yes.
Okay. On the budget workshop, Monday, April 3rd, just like to have it reworded under the board member comments, the first
What page are you on?
paragraph, it's C1C.
Okay,
It just says that you chewed me out. And,
where was that?
It's under the board member comments. It's supposed to be a little unprofessional and personal. The last sentence, you chewed me out. So I think you disagreed with me.
Well, if you remember, you had wanted your phrasing stated exactly how you said it, and then Mary Agnes said that she wanted her phrasing stated exactly how she said
So
it.
she said she chewed me out? Mm-hmm. You chewed me out and then you said that?
I guess I said that, and then I also said about the grandstanding, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember the grandstanding.
But we've kissed and
Okay.
made up, so.
Yeah, you want to
Okay.
have that in posterity? That's what's on the page?
Okay.
That's all I've got.
I got one other one too.
Oh,
Just in the minutes from March 20th,
okay.
page 4. Any contractors wishing to work for our township, I think it should read instead of in our township.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's gonna be a lot of unlicensed guys that,
Okay. Work in our township.
yeah.
Okay.
It should read work for our township.
Let me see.
Right here. Instead of in our
Oh,
township.
got it, yep.
There's a lot of people that,
What paragraph is that, Tom?
second, whereas any contractors wishing to work in our township shall be licensed.
That's correct.
I've got a license, but there's a lot of people that work in our township that don't.
Well, if they're going to work on our water
Work-
system, they are going
That's
to.
for our township, though, not in our township.
No, that's working on our system.
For us, not in our.
Not directly for the township, no, for even a homeowner. It's got to have a contractor that is licensed and bonded to, and insured to work on our main. I
That'd
think
be
that's
work.
correct.
Well, it's not a,
Yeah, it says any contractor working in our township, that's.
Wishing to work in our township.
Yeah, but that could just be anybody. coming
that could be
as a
anybody putting in a
contractor.
septic field for a private residence.
Well, it says to work on our system. It means the water system. Isn't that what we're talking about, is the water system?
Well, the first sentence
water
is
tap
leaves
fee.
it wide open.
Yeah.
It doesn't clean it up after.
Yeah, we're talking about water. I assume that's the water system. That's what my intent was. I don't care, change it if you want.
No, well,
What are we changing it to?
just to work for our township shall be licensed, insured, registered, to work on our system.
Yeah, because wouldn't most people working on our system be working for the township?
No. Your homeowners can get whoever they want to run their water lines.
That's true.
And you want them to be licensed and insured and bonded to work in our township. You don't want some flunky out of Detroit coming out here with no insurance and then start
Well, they can't
repairing a
touch-
line and ripping the line out.
They can't touch the main, that's under township scrutiny of who does the taps. When you sell the tap, it's specified that it's gonna be a licensed
licensed
contractor.
contractor. But anybody that runs it from the
From the
stop
tap in,
box into the house is gonna have to be licensed as well. We don't want just everybody working on our stuff.
Can you just put in a form?
Suggestion, in/for.
Yes, yes, that's what Kathy just said.
Oh, good, all right.
You're not gonna specify not Detroit Flunkies, though, are you?
No,
You're not gonna put that in.
no. Angie, don't put
Okay.
that in there.
Well, I'm not.
Like, you'd be surprised how many contractors come out here to work because they can make a quick buck.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And then when they start screwing around, they do pull the main out of a section of pipe, and then it just screws everything up. It's just safer not to do that. If there's somebody that does that, you want to make sure that they've got insurance to repair it and replace it. So, okay, we have those two items. Anyone else? Susie, you all right with everything? Angie, you
Yes,
okay
I
with
am.
everything? Any other questions on this consent agenda?
Oh, could I ask?
Sure.
3D.
C3D?
Yeah, what is the Fifth Third Township corporate account?
That's the credit
That's
card.
the total amount, but
Oh,
there's
that's the
$250.
That's the credit card.
That's the-
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah, okay.
1 year thing that they charge us. Most people pay like 100 for their
Okay.
personal credit card. This is a corporate one, and it's $250.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I did see that in here too.
Anybody else got anything?
I'm concerned that the bank reconciliation report is missing yet again, and it hasn't showed
They're
up
right
since
over there.
November.
I think there was a misunderstanding. You mentioned that I need to do them in a timely manner. I've been doing them, they just don't reconcile.
Well, yeah, I understand that. They won't reconcile yet till everything's all fixed, but how come it's not in the
Because
reports?
it's over
Okay.
here, because I didn't finish it, because I'm having too hard of a time with the general ledger.
I ran a report, and there's 178 outstanding checks, 241 open transactions, and 14 outstanding deposits, in a total of $798,791.93.
Well, you can check it over there, because I show, and that's the problem, I show that you have $590,000 more in the general ledger than I have in the bank. So,
Okay, well, this has to do with the bank recs.
right, see,
Okay.
what you don't understand is the bank recs work in coordination with the general ledger. So when you said to me today that the bank recs have nothing to do with the general ledger,
Well, now, these are just like, you have to click them that the check's clear, like,
yes, I do that in the bank recs
as of when?
every month.
This was run at 2:30 PM, and there's 178 outstanding checks.
We can look at it if you want.
Did you
They're
do it
right there.
today? When I left?
No, but I probably am
Okay.
still working on March, April.
Okay, these
And
are
I
from
don't- I don't-
November. Okay.
Remember when I come into the meeting and I say that the bank recs don't match the general ledger? Every month I say that. What I work on is the tax. So I go in and I do the bank recs, I've gone back in, and every month for the general ledger, I do clear the checks, but if you make any adjustments, I have to go back in
I'm
and do
talking
it.
about payroll checks that
Yes.
cleared?
Remember when we did the payrolls? And I gave you a list of checks that didn't clear on your end? They weren't. Remember I said I gave you a list? That was for February, for the general ledger? There was like 5 of them,
Okay.
and I had been going back through each month to
It's
clear
hard to
them.
remember back to February, but okay.
No, I gave them to you this week,
Okay.
and they hadn't been journalized, remember
Okay.
those?
Oh, the payroll checks,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That was one section of
Right,
payroll
but
checks
that's
that
what
weren't
I'm doing, I'm
journalized.
going back through each month, I have to go back now because some things have been posted after the month, so,
Okay.
I-
Is the board not concerned that we're not seeing a bank reconciliation report each month? I'm,
haven't we brought that up every month?
okay.
All right, but what about the 6 months?
They're right over
thing?
there, if anybody wants to look at them, they're right there in those books.
Okay.
You can look at what I have.
And you're aware of the 6-month rule with the miscellaneous transactions, that after 6 months they disappear and you can no longer put them in the correct amounts or correct months that they
I've been
belong
in touch with BSNA and working on it every month, Angie.
Okay.
Are you aware that you're supposed to be making monthly manual movements
Yeah.
that would allow me to do the bank recs?
Okay, yes, I am.
And are you doing that?
Yes, I am.
No,
Per-
you're not.
Yes, Kathy.
No, you're not. Mm-mm. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so now we.
That's the whole point.
All right, do we want to approve the consent agenda as presented, or do we want to leave that out, or do you
Well,
want to put something in
what I
there?
will say, again, is the bank recs do not, the bank statements and bank recs do not reconcile with the general ledger, again. And we're going to address that with the audits and the cleanup of the general ledger later. But if we have to make a note of it again, I'll state it for the minutes, again. They're right there. You can look at them. The bank recs haven't reconciled for almost 2 years, so
Yeah, but the previous treasurers were still providing us
the
with the.
previous
bank recs.
treasurer was doing the
Showing
general
us.
ledger. Connie was doing the general ledger. That has been established. We had a financial meeting. It was said that from now on, there's segregation of duties. You are the clerk, you're responsible for the general ledger. I am the treasurer. I do not have access to the general ledger, period. That's already been established. So since November, anything that Connie was doing as a deputy treasurer in the general ledger is not being done. And that was brought up every meeting. I don't know how many other ways to say it.
So we don't have to be concerned about that?
Well,
And that 6
What
months
what
and all
I'm
that
saying to
disappearing?
you, what I'm saying is, you are asking me how much money is in the bank when I don't have a checkbook. That's what it boils down to. So if you don't do it throughout the year, and you expect me to reconcile every month, but the auditors do it in the ledger once a year, how am I supposed to do a bank rec? What am I reconciling to?
The information that you get from the clerk's office does not help you.
No, it's not being done on a monthly basis, or the movements are not being made, no.
What kind of movements?
Adding
I'm green at this, I'm not
interest,
getting it.
debiting and crediting deposits into other funds within the general ledger. That's why it shows a lot in cash and it's not dispersed to other funds. Connie, there's paperwork in those books showing that she was making those movements. Now, this is Nicole Hart, my deputy treasurer. She's fantastic, along with Sherry. They work well together. She and I have been working heavily all week, trying to work with the clerk, giving her paperwork. I have that here as well. And it's not my job, and it's probably a little bit of manipulation of the general ledger as well. But when you hand somebody interest from a bank, when you hand it to the clerk should know what debit and credits to make. I shouldn't have to say, this is where you debit it and this is where you credit, but I did. I wrote it all down, broke it down. I was behind when I first started and I had to play catch up. So those small amounts of the interest every month weren't being applied. I sent emails giving Angie the specific debits, credits, any taxes coming in. I gave Angie the specific inter-fund activity accounts. She called BSNA and worked with Pam Hill on a couple of them.
Those are the journal entries, though. Those have all been done, Kathy. Yeah, we're talking about the payroll checks here.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Those are in the
okay.
bank recs.
Okay.
Yeah.
A click away to say that they cleared, because we just had for instance, we just had to fulfill a FOIA just recently.
We
And
did that for you. We already did it through cash receiving.
Okay, we just had to,
$11.45 for Don Chop.
okay, we had to fulfill a FOIA that on our end
Right.
looked like he had 5 outstanding checks, like that never cleared our system. And so
And
we
when were the
were
date
just
of the
assuming.
checks? When were the date of the checks?
Oh, I don't remember.
July, April?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so.
why
it
weren't
didn't
those
show-
cleared then?
It didn't show that they cleared our system.
Why?
And so we just assumed that you had been keeping up with the bank recs.
From
like clearing the
last
system.
November, July and
Yes.
April on Don Chop's checks?
November checks is what I'm talking
So,
about.
see, the thing is, if you have checks and balances,
so
you would
we-
have known that didn't clear.
we
So
were
now you
concerned-
want me to go back to November of
No,
last year?
Kathy, I pulled it up on my computer.
Yeah.
Okay, the report, that should show the activity from your end, and the
You
checks
can't get
haven't
into
cleared.
no, that's not how it works, Angie.
The checks haven't cleared, so I write the check, and so months later, I should go back and see if the check cleared or not.
You should
And,
know in your program so what you're telling me is when I came in November, I should have gone back and taken care of the program from last November. You're not right.
Well, those checks would have showed cleared in December's statement.
Why, if that's the case, then why did you have payroll checks that weren't journalized? There's problems. There's problems.
No, okay.
Yes.
That happened
We
once.
can go back and forth. We
that
can go
was-
back and forth. I'm not discussing
That
it
was
anymore.
one payroll
we're
period
beating
from
a dead horse?
February.
Is that
It
what
was
you
a
said?
click away.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
both are talking about two separate things.
Yes, I disagree.
Talking about the checks that they
I know what
cleared,
she's talking about, the
and
bank
you're talking
recs,
about
when I go through each bank rec, I spent 5 hours with training doing it on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think
I
she's
go through,
understanding.
each
This
bank
is-
month and I check off. But I've been working on my tax as much as I could, and I'm getting training when I can for free. And I've been checking them as much as I can. If there's something that was from March, the March is in there, we can look at them. I have clear checks and unclear checks, they're in the book over there. And if it's something that's with the bank rec, I'll have to go back and see.
There's 178 outstanding.
Then you give them to me and I'll
Here,
check them.
There you go, that's for you.
right.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to go back to our consent agenda. Is there anything there that anyone else wants to pick apart, or can we approve that? And you want to just leave that one part out? We have to remove the Township Bank Reconciliation Report tax account because Kathy didn't get a chance to finish that. She gave that
It's
to
right
me.
over there.
Yeah, but you were going to give us something and you didn't get a chance to
We
get
need
it
something to
finished.
look at in our hands.
Yeah,
I
that's all right.
understand.
So maybe next month you'll have that for me, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and then we can go on with our lives. All of the other investment reports are here, the cash summary reports are here, the clerk's revenue and expenditure report is here, the approval of paychecks is here, approval of accounts payables, that one typing error that I made on the accounts payable on C3C, we corrected number 2. Fire department, we discussed the third corporate account. Ira Township still didn't give us a report for April. There's also a letter in there, I'm sure you saw it. It was, we were getting FOIA requests and subpoenas that we didn't have a representation for Kelly Faselli's thing. And I finally got them to give me a letter that says that we're not involved in that. That what we did was settle with her, she's gone. And we're settled with Mr. Zorn and that crew. And we got the attorney to give us a letter to that effect. So that was the last item on correspondence, 4C. Is there anything else that, can we approve the consent agenda as presented then? Or do we want to,
Is this including the proposed budget, the approval of that?
No.
Okay,
no.
Okay.
That was just a handout that I gave you.
okay.
I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda
As presented.
as presented.
And I need a second for that, please.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye by roll call, please.
Tom,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Mary Agnes,
Yes,
Angie, no.
motion carried. 4 to 1. All right, now we have an open session for anyone in the audience that wants to discuss anything on the Township Board of Agenda, and please approach the podium if you have
Can I
anything.
bring up something from last meeting that was on the agenda?
Yeah, go ahead. It's not on this meeting?
No, last meeting, you know when you were talking about the water districts, and you had mentioned that no penalties were charged since the inception of the water districts? Well, that bothered me because I thought, I was part of that. But anyway, I did go see Barb, and they were charged, but not, I made copies, I'm gonna give them to you.
The 8%?
District 3, there was none from 2012 to 2016. And I believe it happened because that's when they got the new BSNA program in the township, and it probably was a program then. But District 2, there were no penalties from 2013 to 2016, which they would have fallen in that place when, the new BSNA software was in. And I believe they helped program it, so, even professionals can make a mistake. But anyway, I wanted to show you all that.
Sure.
And I made a copy for each person, but I was going to show to Kathy first. But anyway, if you look, well, the very first year, they were not supposed to charge interest and penalties. And they did. And that was during Diane's reign, if you remember. And I just brought the last page. But see, it shows the interest and the penalties, and this was for 2009. But when you get up to 2013, it doesn't show it. So there were some years that were.
But was that the 8%? Or was that just the interest?
No, it was 8%. It was 8%
What do
on
we
the
have on
balance, on the payment.
If you don't mind me
The
asking, Nicole.
interest was the monthly interest if
Right.
they paid late
Right.
after.
Well, the penalty is the 8% that's charged on the payment that was due that month.
That gets charged if they don't pay it and it gets
Rolled
rolled
over,
to taxes.
right.
Right,
But if
right.
they don't pay it in a timely manner, they're supposed to get, I can't remember off the top of my head, like 1% monthly.
Right, like they do
until-
taxes.
Until the end of the year.
Well, anyway, I don't know how it was set up, I wasn't pretty.
Yeah, and none of that was in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I know there was a problem in the beginning,
Yeah.
because they were not doing the, it's like a mortgage, your balance always stays the same, the interest changes.
Yes.
So anyway, but just give this person a copy if they're interested in seeing it.
Thank you.
I didn't make for 3 because it was too much paper.
Well, when
And
do
when I
you-
say inception,
Right.
I mean.
We mean
the
from
time it
BS and
started in
BSNA.
I don't
That's
know
what we
was
meant.
done before that.
Well, we had
No
BSNA
records.
before that, but it was
Yeah.
an end.
Right.
so. But
Right.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure people know I charged it.
Well, and every year you should go through the program and update it because,
Yeah, but see, that was at the end of
no,
our
but I'm
term,
just saying
when
that's
we
what we
switched
started to do.
program.
Right.
Yeah.
We start
So I didn't really have any.
checking all the programs, we've
Thank you,
discovered that. Thank
Here
you.
to ask the question on my favorite topping, or topic. What is our status on collecting what is owed us for fire calls and stuff like that? Have we made any progress on collecting any? Have we collected any? Have we put any on the tax rolls or anything?
The last
We haven't
meeting,
collected any yet.
No.
we talked about putting a lien on the property instead. And remember you made that suggestion and then there was a percentage that was added to. That's in the minutes.
Yeah, that was in the minutes.
So we
When
haven't
you
made
put it
any
on,
progress?
when you put it on the tax roll, you can only do it once a year, and that's at the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
So nothing like that will occur until we
Sure.
get to that point. So, and then it'll be an add-on to the winter tax.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay, there's no unfinished business. New business. I have a resolution for 2017-07, resolution opposing the proposed nuclear waste dump less than a mile from the shorelines of Lake Huron in Canada. That came from Senator Pavloff. He asked if we would send another resolution. I think the last one was in 2013 or 14. And he gave us the wording, and I put it together, and I don't know if there's any other questions that you have to ask about that or not, but once we approve it, if it does become approved, we'll forward it to the people that need it. Does everyone understand that? Is there any questions on that?
So we're just saying we're for it and we support it. And
Right. And we just don't want them to dig a nuclear waste dump that close to the lake.
That's a scary thing.
That's where we get our water.
Yeah.
Problems in that lake already.
I'm sorry?
So we have problems in that water already.
So everyone's had a chance to read through it? I would entertain a motion for approval of that resolution opposing the construction of a nuclear waste repository in the Great Lakes Basin. Do I have a motion?
I will make the motion opposing the proposed nuclear waste dump less than a mile from the shorelines of Lake Huron in Canada. I don't know what you were reading from, so I read from here.
That's fine.
What did you read, Kathy?
This right here.
Oh,
Under new business
Yes.
number 1.
okay.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye in a roll call vote, please.
Angie, yes. Mary Agnes?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, the next little item is request for park approval, park and recreation budget. This is an individual sheet that it's hand typed, it's not a computer printout. And it shows that the money coming in from the county park is $15,242. That's already been applied for, and it came in January, I believe. And the fees for Parks and Recreation are when we rent the pavilion in the park. And for residents, I think it's $30, and we return $15 if they haven't destroyed anything when they give it back to us. And if it's contributions for and donations, we get $151, and then transfers from other funds. When I invoiced Klingler's for the salt brine rental in the park here, the money was put into the general fund instead of to Parks and Rec. And that's around $650. So we have a total of revenues and appropriations of $16,563. And Kathy has asked that we remove that $15,242 from the budget. That was what the extra loose papers were that were in your agenda. I was going to have you sign that. Kathy doesn't want to sign it because she thinks that that should not be in there. I agree if that's what she wants. The only thing is we had approved that as it was, and so we gotta do one step at a time. I do intend to do a resolution to take that out and remove it, plus another item that she wants removed from the road ditches and
yeah.
roads. And
We
that
talked
would-
about it, because I listened to my recording before I came here, and we did talk about removing that 27 and the 15 because they're not considered revenues, and that's why we had to cut the 45. So I did go back over and listen, because I just want to make sure that's, and that,
Well, I just went by the minutes and I didn't see that, so, but I can change that. I will do it with an amendment. I'm just trying to make sure that I have a correct format for that. And then I think what we'll do is when we make changes to the budget, we'll have a heading on it, and each one will be numbered with the month and the year in the item, so that we can track it back when we need it.
Well, that's making a big difference in our budget.
Yeah, it drops.
we're $15,000 over what we agreed upon on the 18th, so.
Well, what about the gravel?
Oh, you mean for the roads and
Yeah.
parks? Yeah. Well, that's a whole different thing, but yeah, if you're going to talk about that later, oh.
Well,
Go ahead,
we might as well
I'm
talk
sorry.
about it now, because let's get it all where you want it.
Well, I'm just saying, when I talked to you yesterday and today, I went back over what you gave us, and I was looking at it, and we talked about
Removing these two.
removing these two,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
if
I
you're
told
good,
you
yeah.
I couldn't do it because I didn't have time to do an amendment today.
Right.
I had something I had to be there to this afternoon, so
Okay, so then,
I will fix it for you.
when we did that, then I'm showing the revenues at $458,343, and the expenditures at $473,584, so that's a $15,000 in the red. So if you do that, then you're saying that if we don't meet the budget, we're going to be pulling $15,000 from the fund balance.
Okay, well, we'll have to fix it. We'll have to rearrange it again, but I just want to make sure that I have time to go through that. We'll see if we can find another location to cut something, okay?
Was that road gravel a match? It was a match. For some reason, I thought that we just had an account or something, so it wasn't a match. But
Well, they're putting in 27,
And we
we're
have to
putting
put 27. So in our expenditures, then it should be double that.
Right.
So, yeah, that's 57,000, so
So
that's,
it washes out as an expense. So-
yeah, well, it washes
Yeah,
out
right,
half
right,
of it,
right,
but
right.
there's
We're
still
It
27,000.
should be an expense, not
Yeah.
expense, yeah. right.
Yeah,
We'll get it fixed. If nobody wants to sign this tonight, that's fine. We'll just go with but I'll do another resolution with the total figures on it. I found one of those, and then from then on, we're gonna do amendments every month if we can. Now, I don't know if that's something the whole board wants to be involved in, or just the two officers, but
Well, every time you make an amendment, it should be voted on, right?
yes, it will be, but the thing is, we're gonna discuss it so we have it all ducks in a row, and we come before everybody else. And then if the treasurer or the trustees wanna be involved in the picking apart, we can do that too.
Oh,
But anyhow, the expenditures now for Parks and Rec, the refunds and rebates is $275. That would be half of what the fees that came in for the rentals. The supplies and maintenance, the porta potty, special wood chips for playground, spreading the wood chips, mulch around the trees, annuals, replacing the dead evergreens, and I put $1,000 in for that, so that's $4,820. Mowing of the grass, your shortcut road cutting is $6,325. The Riverside Park on the west side is $360, so that would be $6,685. The shortcut road events, I got the Easter egg hunt, the annual picnic, the Halloween party, and the Christmas party is around $2,000. And then the capital outlay for the Riverside Park. That's something I would like to, it's on our agenda here, but just so it's clear in your mind. We've asked to have 45 to 50 utility poles for fence posts. They're gonna be furnished by the Edison or utility company, and they'll be cut to the right length. We're trying to do a nautical theme. It's in the pictures that I gave you towards the back there. It's gonna take about 600 feet of rope, and that's $1,401. And then the labor and the fuel to excavate the post holes is about $500. Brush hogging is $100. The pea stone for each post, if we want to put a cookie in the bottom of the post holes. I've got some arborvitae trees that I'll donate to the township off in my father-in-law's farm that we inherited. And we'll have to dig them out with a tree spade, so I'll have to see if I can find somebody that'll loan us one of those, or pay up to $300 for cost of renting it, and then the miscellaneous to replant them. So that's $2,873, and that gives you the $16,563.
How big around the rope is it, Mary Ann?
It's 1.5 inches. I got some 2-inch at home that I can't find, but I'll find it. I used it around my condos when I built the condos in Algonac, and that was all 2-inch. And if I can find that, I'll give that to the township. It'll save the little money too.
We're gonna race to see who can find the rope first.
You got some too?
I got a chunk I wanna get the hell out of the barn.
Oh,
What type of rope is it?
It's braided rope. It's got,
Manila or the?
Just Manila.
It's
yeah,
Manila?
he's seen it.
Okay,
Hang it
'cause
up.
the Manila is, from the people that I talk to, they don't like to use it as much because it shrinks so drastically.
It's free.
yeah.
Well, I'm saying, you have to make quite a bowl on it with the Manila, and the Pro Manila lasts forever, and the Manila rots. So those are considerations that you
It
have.
won't last, it won't rot for, I've had mine at the condos for like
Well, I'm just-
almost 20 years, so
That's what they told me.
we'll let the next generation worry about it.
I won't
If
be
it's
here in
free.
20 years.
Yeah, go peek, will ya? See if you can find it.
Yeah, I know where it's, you've seen where it's hanging. in.
How thick is it, you think? Is it 1.5 inches or inch?
At least 1.5 inches.
I was gonna
Okay.
say 1.5 inches, 2 inches. I don't even know what the heck my dad had it for. It's hanging, and we were cleaning, I rehung it.
Well, I bought mine from a guy that sold that to the lake freighter captains for the big boats. And this was something he said would look good there at the condos, and that's what I did. He moved into one of my condos.
Okay, well, I'm either take and show you it and see if that's what you're
Okay.
looking for, or
Well,
cut you off.
Mr. Breckenridge is kind of in charge of that. Craig,
Okay.
you know Tom. And if you can get a meeting together, you think you got that much, 600 feet?
There's 300-foot frontage on the riverside and 100-foot frontage on the west side.
I'd say I got at least 300 feet. I don't know if I get 6.
I'll keep looking for mine too. That's good though, thank you, Tom, that would be great.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this what you expect to get from the county? This
No, that's,
15
we've
to-
already got that much.
Okay, so you
That
got,
came in December or January.
that was from last year's?
Right.
Okay.
Right. We
So we'll
can't,
get-
we can't get that until we have our audit done, and our audit's usually not
Okay.
done till September, and these funds from the county come out in like March,
So-
April. So
okay.
we have to
So
wait
it's
till the
all-
year end.
So just call the cell number.
As soon as I have,
I'll beat
You
you
get
with
something
something.
like in May?
no,
No packets or anything like that?
no, we don't, until I can supply the page out of the auditor from the
Showing
county.
where you spent it
Showing-
from last
yep,
year.
into showing that
Okay.
that money came in,
Okay.
then we have to prove it to the county, and then
Where
the
you
county will
spent
send it, and then they send it back to me in like, I think I usually do it in November, and I usually can get it back right away, like
Okay.
December or January. So that is for 2015. 2016 is not paid yet,
Okay.
okay? Anybody else got questions? Do we want to approve this, or is one of the pages to the budget for 208, which would be Parks and Rec? Do we have a motion to that effect, please?
I'll motion to approve that budget report for Fund 208 Parks and Rec Fund.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this. This is another roll call item.
Sue?
No.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Agnes?
Yes,
Tom?
Yes.
Angie, yes.
motion carried. Sue, can I ask why you did not approve
I
that?
would like to see all these parties, that money for parties be used for maybe trying to get electric someplace or put more into the park instead of for parties. Because when you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a bunch of parties. I'm just against that. We decided years ago we would get donations, we wouldn't spend township money. So I'd rather see somebody call and try to get Edison brought across Shortcut Road into the park. I think that'd be a lot wiser.
Yeah, but we can't do it for $2,000, and we gotta have,
Well,
we
we
gotta have
don't-
use of the park. The
But I
kids
don't think
look forward to
anybody
that.
ever did. They've talked about taking this power and running it way out there, and the wire's gotta be so heavy. And I don't think anybody's price coming across Shortcut Road, because there's poles over there.
There's a pole over there, yes.
So I don't think anybody's ever had them come out and got a price.
Okay, well, I think I did a few years ago, and it was from the planner, but we have a different planner now for our area. And I was planning on checking on it again, but
Well, I know
He
that there was a
retired.
price to do it from this box out here.
no. No, it was before that box was there. That box was put there when this building was added onto. Then I got, it was supposed to be donated to get it out to do another transformer in the middle of the park. But then I thought, actually Wes come up with the idea of coming across the street and running underground. So we'll have to approach that again and see if the new planner would be,
I just
Yeah.
did that a couple, last year. Matter of fact, on McKinley Road, it wasn't that bad.
no?
They come in, they came
Is it overhead or underground?
overhead
Is it?
until it hit the property line and then it went
And then it
underground.
can go underground,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think I paid $1,000 for that. And hey, if I get this rope to fly, maybe we can get a power over there.
Okay.
That would be a lot nicer.
All right, very good. All right, our next one is the garbage fund. We're getting close to being too close. The $190,005.96 is what was collected in taxes, including the reimbursement for the county for the delinquents. Is that what that would be? You have that already too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I did was I divided that by the number of households we have, which is 1,308 households, and it comes out to be $145.26 per household per year, and we only bill $145, so we're going in the hole about $340.08. If you want to raise it a little bit, I went up to $1.74, which would make it from $145 to $147. And that gives us a cushion of about $2,275 for fund balance. That money would only stay there, and it would not be used for anything else. It's a fund balance line for that account.
Yep.
And I want to assure people that when we do these things, that that money is going to be staying there for what it's used for, not for credit cards and not for trips or conferences or any of that stuff. If you want me to prepare a resolution for the garbage line item, I would ask that we also accrue the assessment of trash pickup for the balance of the fiscal year for anyone that builds a new house. If they build a new house through the winter, they get their certificate of occupancy in March. When we give them that C of O, I would like to see if we can charge them $12.12 a month for every month in cash before they leave, so when it goes on their taxes in December, they're taken care of. We lose a lot of money with the new construction because they have free garbage pickup for that whole time.
And $12.12 a month isn't bad.
No, it isn't.
That's really
We were
good
talking, I
price.
think that's a good idea. We were reading it today, and I was gonna ask you, why don't we get the certificate of those C of Os or whatever they call them? Why don't those people come into the office? Does Bill give those to them, or
Yeah, he generally does.
like on the final inspection or something?
Yeah,
Couldn't they
once
have
it's-
the
once it's final.
$40, pay the $40 at our office?
Well, that's what I want them to
And
do,
then
is
we
come
can
in
charge
and
them.
you issue the
Right.
CBO, and they don't get it until it's paid.
Right, because then it would help everyone.
Sure.
Barb would know,
Yep.
we'd know, we'd get our money, we could prorate, like you
Yeah.
said. That's a good idea.
Okay. Is there any questions on that?
I don't know when Kelly was in here, we went to the date where we're paying the tipping fees. Has anyone ever tracked that? Are we saving money? Are we at the same, or,
I don't know what you mean.
well, instead of paying the garbage hauler for the disposal and everything, we went to where we're paying the landfill.
Right,
It was supposed to save us a bunch of money.
yeah.
And I mean, have we ever checked with the landfill? Are we saving money, or is it, anyone did the numbers out to see if we're saving or it costs us?
I don't know, it's been like this for, 5 years, so.
Yeah.
I didn't go back to a previous contract. I think is this our second year, I think, with Emterra, isn't it? Because it was Richfield before.
The same company, just
Yeah,
different name.
they sold out. I can double check that for you.
I'm just curious, because we were supposed to save so much money doing that. And then, again, I'm not even sure how much the garbage, I'm not sure all of our garbage is, our garbage that we're paying for it too, but that's my own personal issue.
I know, I asked that gentleman that again this week. I had another occasion where a gentleman's trash didn't get picked up. He says he's been neglected at least once or twice a month, and he was getting a little irate, so I started looking on Mondays now. I'm checking to make sure his trash is picked up. It is, and I call the office and they send me a truck. We'll double check the fees, because I imagine, I don't know, I'll have to see what we get.
I know when I dump a load, the customer wants to see if the truck's empty, I let them. They're picking up first, they ought to be able to let me see if the truck's empty before they start.
Well, I told him what your thought was, and he said he would check. And then, like I said, I talked to him probably 4 times about it, and I said, I'm gonna need an answer pretty soon, because this gentleman is kinda, well, no, he's not. He wants to see I said he's out that early in the morning, you
Well,
know,
that's a lot of money we're putting out for disposal. And then, like I say, on the other hand, I'm wondering
if it's all our trash.
if it's all our trash, and are we saving any money doing this, paying the county likes it because it's guaranteed money.
Right,
We pay our bills,
right.
and we're gonna pay our bills. We're not gonna go out of business.
Mhm.
We pay our bills, so that's part of the reason we're supposed to be able to save some money.
All right, well, I'll double check. I'll just ask him, and I'll get back with you.
Another thing too.
Sure.
Last night, Barb was saying that she was gonna have Ruth go over every parcel and check to see if there were double occupancies. Because she said, if I'm explaining it right, in her assessing program, because some things need to be updated, that there are some parcels where there should be 2 pickups, 2 separate pickups. And there
Two
ought to be
residences
2
on one parcel.
residences.
Okay,
And they're
I
being
get you.
charged. So as they were counting them, they were coming up with them, so she was gonna give you,
Okay, so there's another list
so
of,
there's a possibility that
Okay.
there are parcels
yeah,
to add. So she
Okay.
was gonna do that for you last night.
great,
Yeah.
all right.
So-
Well, when I get that, then I'll put that into the
Right.
resolution too, and I'll have it for you for next month. And if you guys pass this tonight. Do we have a motion to approve?
I think it's a good idea, and I think those monies can be, we know what that exact amount that we're being charged. And I think it's a good idea. I'll make the motion to approve the garbage budget for fiscal year 3/31/18.
And you're gonna increase it to the $147
I think it should be,
per year?
because I know we're falling short and going to the general fund, or the fund balance.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second because it involves money?
Increasing to 147.
Yeah, increasing it to 147. We have a roll call vote on that, please?
Mary Agnes,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Angie, yes, Sue,
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Now, the roping issue is the very next picture.
Oh.
And then the drawing here shows the little red posts. Those are all where the fencing is going to go. And the last page, he was traveling around Florida and he got some pictures of, huh?
The wish list.
It's a wish list, yeah, that probably won't come to pass, but, it was nice to include it. So what I'm asking for is the 600 feet of 1.5 to 2-inch nautical fashion rope, and then the utility poles, if we can set this up. Now, if something happens and we find rope, that will come off there. But I would ask that we appropriate a not to exceed of $1,901 for this work, for the fencing in the river park, and I'd like to get it done in the next 30 days if we can. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Is this out of Parks and Rec, Mary Agnes, or is
Yes.
this out of general?
No, this is out of Parks and Rec. That's, and that
It's on
budget you
the
just approved,
capital
it's the list.
outlay.
It's capital outlay, it's purchase.
The 1401 that's listed on the budget, it's already budgeted for.
Page F2,
Yes.
Tom.
Yeah, I'll show 'em.
Okay.
It's in that budget stuff we just approved, Tom.
Oh, I know where it's at. I'm just making a point on the grandstand a little bit.
Okay.
Better watch it, you get chewed out.
You can't get grandstand because you're a grandpa. All right,
Chewed up, one of them.
as long as you don't get spit out, we're fine.
That's right.
Okay, do we have a motion to that effect, please?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Good, Tom, thank you. We have a second, please.
I'll second that.
We have a second from Susie. And it's spending money, or appropriating money. All in favor signify by saying aye by roll call vote.
Mary Agnes,
Aye.
Tom,
We're gonna try real hard to use the rope we can find. Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Angie, yes.
Motion carried, thank you. You can word that into the, I think I said it, but I don't,
Okay,
just so you know that if we don't need the money for the rope, we'll,
okay.
between the two of us, maybe we'll get enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Request for possible donation to the Council on Aging for Washington Life Center. This is something the township has always done. We always, I think it was, what, 500 bucks, Bev?
I know, but I'm confused on donations, because then they say, no, you can't give it, so I don't know if it's allowed for
Well,
the
they,
seniors, but I know the Boy Scouts are not allowed.
yeah, this is given, the chapter and verse from the Attorney General's office, so they were putting their ducks in a row. It says, according to the Michigan statute referred above, a county or township may make an appropriation from general funds to private nonprofit organizations and corporations which undertake the provision of senior citizen activities or services, and where a contract is entered providing for the terms of the appropriation is authorized by, and it gives the chapter and verse. If, I don't know where we'd get it, but if you think that that's something we want to entertain, we might be able to find something. We used to use the Council on Aging quite a bit for our meetings that were, because we were too small here for the numbers of people that were coming. We have not used it in a long time.
Decided if it was something that you were getting something
Back for.
But the donation itself.
Yeah, because we used to be able to use Cherry Beach.
Yeah.
So that came in handy.
That
but-
did come in handy, but
Yeah.
now they want to charge us when we go to the one on Washington, so
Oh, do they?
unless we negotiate something that says if we give this donation, it'll cover any time we want it for
Well, yeah.
for
Then we
a
get free
town
rent.
hall meeting or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's up to you. What do you think?
What are the donations going for?
Just for the seniors. Council on Aging. Well, it says, served over 10,000 seniors, approximately 4,000 attended the Washington Life Center. Center accounted for 11,510 program units from Cotterville Township. The overall countywide program units for the 2015-16 year was 95,754 units.
Can we wait until we get a better idea of
Whether we can make a deal?
whether we can make a deal and whether we want to take it out of, if we're looking to replace a certain amount of money in the
Okay.
general fund, we might want to wait on that.
that.
Pardon me?
I'll take my cut out of that now, I can use it.
Where's my
Just
wallet?
go
I'll
down
get you
there and
a
get
quarter.
lunch.
It's in the book.
You can't get change for a penny, can you?
They do a nice job there. They do have a lot there for the seniors. It is, but
Do they also do the meals?
do the
Do
what?
they do the Meals on Wheels?
They
did out
supply, they
here.
used to supply a meal every
Yeah.
day for
Because they used to do it out at
lunches or,
Cherry Beach.
Yeah, I think
but
they still
don't know
do.
if they
yeah, they
do
do a
there.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
thought
table
that was
it till
nice.
next meeting?
We can?
Yeah, that-
We have a motion to table, is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second. No, I'll second.
Okay, I'll second. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carried. I didn't hear any nays. All right. Kathy, I'm gonna let you handle this next part, because you did this part on Stuart Whipple, or Bovee and Whipple. They're the
Right.
accountants we had before.
Okay.
Plant Moran. And then we also have one here for Plant Moran as well. So if you wanna, I'm sure everyone's had a chance to go through the paperwork, but let's.
There was a
let's
lot of
get it-
paperwork.
Just kinda give it a.
Just a
once
general.
over, Please.
You're gonna see two quotes here, one from Plant Moran, which is like 17 pages, and then one from Stewart, Bouvet, and Whipple, and I'm gonna call them SBW from now on because I mess their name up every time I try to repeat it.
She thinks it's Mr. Whipple.
Whipple, I'm like the High Name Association. But anyways, when, I think it was last meeting or the meeting before, we were talking about, when Pam Hill came out here and gave us a financial report, she said the first step was to do the cleanup of the ledger. And we were talking about how long it would take. I did call and confirm with her, for her company, that it would be, she gave us a very general number, 40 hours at $120 an hour. When we did, that would just be for the cleanup. They charged $16,000 for, or excuse me, they charged $16,000 for their audit. So just on those two items, you're looking at $20,000 or $21,000. I checked with SBW. I sent them our trial balances for the end of April, or the end of last year and March, because they needed that to get some idea of how many hours they felt for cleanup. They felt it was going to take more, anywhere between, on their quote, I believe they said 40 to possibly 60. And they have different charges, $90 for the people that come out and work with you. It could increase for people to look at their work, but overall, from talking with them, SBW, I had the clerk, or excuse me, the treasurer from China come over, who's an auditor, and used to be an auditor and a CPA, and she felt that SBW's quote was a lot more realistic. And person that's training me, she's an accounts payable bookkeeper, and that was part of the problem with the bank recs. She didn't feel comfortable making any suggestions with the general ledger or doing anything, not that we want anybody in the general ledger but the clerk. Also, if you look at the comparison between the two, last year our total amount was $31,000 for accounting and auditing. We budgeted, I believe, 18, so we were over quite a bit. I think personally, from talking with these people, that we could reduce our costs in the long run if we can get somebody in here, and what they do, I spoke with SBW. They just got done at Clay Township. And I know you don't care for them, but there's a lot of people.
You know why? I wanted to
Well-
know how to do my work, and they would not.
Well, they don't train you.
No, I know they
and-
don't, but when you ask a question, you expect an
And I
answer,
did
and you're not
address
an answer.
that, I did address that. Now, Plant Moran, when you call Plant Moran, they bill you on the total number of time after it gets to a certain amount. That's why we got the bill for $750 toward the end of our last, remember that last bill we got?
745?
They start accumulating and charge us in blocks. I talked with Tammy over at SBW, and I checked with other agencies. I called around to see what they thought of SBW. They work throughout the county. They do St. Clair County Treasurer's office, or they do their clerks and their accounting, and I got nothing but good. So unless, they told me that if it can't be fixed, if it can be fixed in 15 minutes or less, over the phone, they don't charge you. Plant Moran does. And, so I'm going by what I researched.
All I know is they like to do the work themselves and charge
Well,
for it.
a lot of that is because when they come in, they have to do a lot of the cleanup beforehand. If you look at, that's why I wanted those invoices in, so that you could see that that's what they're charging us for. They come out before the audit, and they spent, I think we figured it was $7,000 before the audit even started, between the training on how to do the preparation of the
But
reports.
part of that was the previous board,
But it-
because they left it a mess.
And I'm not doing it to, I'm not saying it, I'm just saying that if we don't get ahead of it,
I know, but you're throwing out these figures.
well, I have them right here.
I know, but
But-
that's what it was from. They weren't doing
It,
the job.
right, it accumulated, and it's been
Yeah, right,
accumulating,
right.
right? So,
Plant Moran, I don't mean to interrupt you.
That-
Like, Plant Moran is charging us to educate, would be charging us to educate Kathy.
well, it's not just me. How it works is, I called Clay Township, and I said, and I spoke with Tammy, I spoke with Cindy Valentine, she's the clerk. And this is something that Angie can research as well, since, would be working with me. But they come out, and it has to be when Angie and I are both present, and that's part of the cleanup. Now, they're accountants, they don't train you, there's no way that we're gonna learn 4 years of accounting, but they can teach us repetitive processes so that we can reduce the amount of money we have to spend if we get ahead of it. Next year, we might not have to put as much money out. And it reduces the cost of the audit itself, because,
Well, I would suggest that you gals start using BSNA more and MTA, because a lot of the questions that you have raised can be answered by them, rather than calling the lawyer or the auditors who do charge an arm and a leg.
you'd have to come in, Bev, and see, because it's
Well, I know
very,
what it was like when I went.
well, you say that, but you can call BSNA, but they're not, you have to check that you're doing things according to how the auditors are recommending too. You can work in conjunction with both of them. You have to know a little bit about what you're talking about when you call BSNA.
But see, that's when you run for these jobs, you should have a background and understanding.
Well, you do, but when you come in and you look at the accounts, I have a background in accounting and finance. I went and took classes for it. I put it as part of my compensation committee when you guys asked for it. I brought that all in. I brought my transcripts in. I do have it, but there's even, when you come in and work with the BSNA program, it's different. And if you come in and there's 4 or 5 years of where it wasn't, well, you can ask Nicole. We've eliminated how many redundancy general ledger numbers. I mean, it just needs to be cleaned up, and we don't have the authority to go in there and do it.
It's a accumulation over the years, and it seems like whenever, I don't know how much turnover there was, but nobody researched anything, they just created another one. And so the general ledger has tons and tons and tons of numbers, and half of them are just, not even active anymore. And it just needs to be cleaned up before anything can, you start at a balance so you know how much money you really do have, because some accounts have like $13 million in there. Now, we know we don't have $13 million. And other accounts, they're set up kind of backwards where it looks like we have money, but we really don't, and that has to be cleaned up first. And I think that's what she's talking about, and then going forward from there, but you have to have a starting point.
Right. I mean, you can say, you can look for yourself, or if you want to research yourself, this is what I found out. I've talked to people that work with the BSNA program in other offices. I've talked to accountants. I've talked to CPAs. I've had them come out, look at the program, and and the first time when I first got in office, I had from China, and she came out, she said, she said this. She said, I wouldn't touch, and they can't do the adjustments. It has to be done by the clerk's office. So I'm just doing the research. I think you have 4 good people here, 5, with our 2 trustees, but I mean, you've got Sherry, Nicole, me, and Angie, and you can get ahead of it now and pay, now SBW wants a commitment of $5,000. You can get that's for the cleanup. But I'm afraid that if you go with Plant Moran, they're going to save 40, and they're good company, don't get me wrong, but both of these companies, when they do the audit, say that the price of the audit depends on the general ledger being cleaned up and ready to go. So if you don't do that, then you take the chance that you're going to spend twice that much like you did last year. But once everything's cleaned up and the audit's done, it's got to be maintained, or else we're wasting the money. So at that point, then, I'm putting the information out there.
That's one idea, is to go that way, hiring the auditor team or an auditor to come in and clean up the GL. At $90 an hour, I seen a cost of $120 an hour, even $175 an hour. Is that what they were estimating? And they thought they could come in for a total of 40 hours and clean up the GL. But if you remember from a special, when we had the special meeting on April 13th with Plant Moran, Pam Hill, she stated that the general ledger is in bad shape, and we all knew that, and will take a long time to get things cleaned up. She stated that it may even take as long as 2 to 3 years. Pam Hill suggested that we consider hiring a part-time employee whose sole purpose would be to work on the general ledger. If we wanted an auditor from Plant Moran to work on the general ledger part-time, we would be looking at a wage of $120 an hour. So an alternative measure, is to, per Pam Hill's suggestion, is to hire a part-time employee, and I put together some math to go along with Kathy's math, stated in her handout, and it kind of gives you a visual of a part-time employee versus hiring an auditor. And if we hired a part-time employee to come in the same hours we're here, 17 hours a week, at $15 an hour, a gross pay of $255 a week, the same as the other girls, basically. Within 16 weeks of work, she could put in 272 hours at $15 an hour, working 17 hours per week, which equals $4,000. So that would give us a lot more time to clean up the GL, because Pam Hill stated it was going to take 2 to 3 years.
No, Angie,
Here.
I have it right here from Pam Hill. It's in the, did you read her quote?
I also have it on recording too. That's what, this is an excerpt from the draft minutes of the special meeting on April 13th.
I just listened to it before I got here, and you did say, we did talk about that. You said that you thought it was going to take 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
I called Pam on the phone, and she said her quote, it's in here, 40 hours. That's what she quoted to clean up the general ledger. Now, I don't like the idea of, because we don't know how to do our job, we're going to hire somebody else again. If you,
Well,
we
she
always
suggested-
have to,
Pam Hill suggested that we could hire as an alternative a part-time employee who knows what they're
We
doing.
could.
And
That
come
would
in and
be-
work with you and me, that's a neutral person, that could train us, clean up the GL. It's just an alternative.
okay,
To
who would
sit,
you,
for the board.
okay, and who would you hire as a part-time person?
Well, that would be something that we would have to put out
Okay.
to the public to see who, it doesn't have to be necessarily
I
somebody
can,
from
what
Cottrell
I'll
Township.
say to that is, I disagree. I think that we're already paying $25,500 to you and $16,000 to your DEP. It's done in all the other agencies. I can only give you the information, and it's your responsibility as a clerk to maintain the general ledger. It's in your job description, so I'll make the motion to go with SBW. You can review the information, but I don't think the answer is hiring yet another employee. Every year, we're going to have an audit. So,
I think we need a professional company to come in and straighten this up.
yeah.
And they got a lot of people that they work for in the area. I mean, there's Port Gratiot, Port Huron, Harrison, East China, St. Clair, Wales Township, St. Clair County, Memphis, Marysville, Clay Township, and China. They can't be all bad if all these people are using it.
And it's not that, like, you know, once you get it cleaned up and you have the audit, if you want to consider the board, if that's a good idea, if you don't feel that, you know, they can work with you, if you don't feel that it can be maintained, then that would be the next step. Do you want to, the board could consider, do you want to hire somebody? But I don't think we should pay 3 people to do the general ledger. I don't think, or 2 people.
I think it just needs to be cleaned up, and it should go forward from there, it should be fine. But if we get a third person and it drags out another year,
Right.
and it still ain't done, you know.
Well, and they don't have who's going to teach them how to clean up the ledger?
And for $15 an hour, whatever you were saying,
You can't-
we can find
You're
someone.
not
You
gonna
can't
get
do that.
anybody
I was
that
just
knows
really-
what they're doing.
It's low, but she
Yeah,
was
very
even
low
saying,
for
you know, she
somebody
even
qualified.
suggested 25. I just rounded it off to 15 because that's what we pay our deputies. That's the lowest pay in the township hall. I just wanted to get, you know, we can go up from 15 or we can go down. I just wanted to give an alternative, you know, just an alternative choice, because she did suggest that we could hire some part-time accountant, bookkeeper come in who has backgrounds in that and, you know, can help us. I mean, Beth even said the SBW doesn't train, they just come in and clean, they don't train how to go forward. You know, so-
They don't train you on accounting, but they do I just spoke with, well, that's not an accountant's job to come in and,
No, I didn't
Not-
say for them to train you. If you ask the question and
they
they
do.
won't answer.
I have called, I don't know, maybe they're, maybe
And
somebody
Tammy
has
had journal
corrected.
entries to buy that were incorrect, that
Okay,
went
this is
further out. So
this
that's
is
why I
what
said-
they told me.
Yeah, well, I know what they told.
Well, I brought your concerns because I know you don't like SB, or you don't care for them.
Well, because they didn't do their job.
Well, when I talked to them, I said, what's the is there any, I called the Treasury's Department, I called the Clerk's Department in the state. I said, is there any problem, is there any conflict of interest having them do the cleanup and the audit, either of these companies? And she had said, no, as long as you maintain your independence. And she said, what I mean by that is if you have an auditor come in, you have to do what they say they advise you to do that's legal, like you can't have a payroll fund somewhere. But these other, the PPADs that are in the BS&A, they're the adjustments, you can dispute those. That's management's decision on the other adjustments that are made. But the ones that are legalities, they have to be done. If Angie has a question and she doesn't agree with how they're telling her to adjust monies from one fund to the other, she can check with management, she can bring it in front of the board, she can call the auditor and say, why are you having me do that? I don't want to do that. And we can decide as a board that we're not. But if it's required to be done, we can't. And so I did call around and I checked. And when I called the clerk's office up at the state, she said, Cindy Davis, she said, I think you guys are on the right track. Down the road, if Angie wants to, bring up hiring somebody, if it's cheaper in the long run, but we gotta start somewhere. We can't, it's really a mess. And I'm just saying, I'm bringing it to your attention. I feel like I'm negligent if I don't bring it to your attention. I think SBW is the way to go, and that's what I'm gonna do, make a motion that we,
Well, what if they don't get it done in the 40 hours, the estimated 40 hours?
what the SBW said,
And we've paid the 5,000 out, and it's still,
what they said
nowhere.
is they want us to commit to $5,000 at least. They're gonna come in here First they're gonna be working with you and I. We can set with them when they will come in and address the board, if they wanna come in every month, or if you wanna have some kind of, I don't wanna say
Yeah, but
special meeting, because I don't.
How many hours do we get for the 5,000? Or is-
Between 40 and 60.
Okay.
And the general ledger has to be cleaned up by both of these proposals before they do the audit, or they can charge us more for the audits. So like last year, before the audit, we spent like 7,000, and then after the audit, we spent another, 9,000, and they gave us a discount. That was a discount with Plant Moran. So maybe we could have hired another person, but what I'm saying is we have to start. That's my suggestion.
And this, doing general ledger, that's gonna work into our audit too, that's coming up, is that the same company B here?
It would be SBW doing the cleanup and the audit, and they charge less than,
Just the, as
and
we
they're
just-
very familiar. I don't know, I did ask Plant Moran, and Angie can address that, how familiar they are with BSNA program, but I'm assuming they're very familiar, Plant Moran, and so is BSNA. I mean, you can,
And for 40, it says for 40 to 60 hours and $5,000 to $7,000. So
they want a
that- that
commitment
is
at
what,
least
60?
5,000.
Yes, okay. It could go up to 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for 60 hours.
But we paid, like I said, we budgeted for 20 for the audit and the cleanup, and last year you budgeted for 18 and you spent 31. So we got to do something, or you might as well hire somebody, but you shouldn't be hiring somebody and paying another person to do the same job. That's my opinion.
I got a question.
Sure.
Is that not something that, a cleanup that you girls could do?
No,
Really?
no.
Can you get correct numbers or any of that?
If we were doing it, we'd be doing it now. If we knew how to do it, it wouldn't be in the situation it's in.
It's been this way for so many years.
Right, it
My
You know,
business gets a
down the
program every year.
road, that would be, that would be the goal, to get it where, now, I got off track there, but Cindy said that send somebody out, and they work with both of us. They show Angie how to do her portion of the checks and balances with cash, the general ledger, and then they show me what I need to do for the bank recs if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And then they let us do it on our own, and they kind of critique you and get you to where you feel comfortable doing it. They don't call that training.
Who does that?
That's part of the cleanup with the either Plant Moran or SBW. SBW just got done with Clay. Now they're both on their own over there. I don't know what their backgrounds are.
How much did it cost them?
I have no idea, but they're full-time. They're full-time employees. But I know for a fact that other agencies are paying half of what we paid last year to have an audit done. So if we can get ourselves ahead of it and get it cleaned up, then if the answer is to hire somebody part-time after the cleanup and the audit, but if we keep going, we're
You gotta
building
get
on
this
bad
zeroed out
numbers.
so you know where you're at.
So that's the research I did. I proposed both of them. I did my research, and I think SBW is the way to go. And I wanted to make the motion to have commit $5,000 for cleanup with SBW and the audit as well.
And the audit was 14.5.
Yes, that was my motion. I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, just a second.
Just for clarification, the audit is 14.5,
Yes.
and then
They wanted
want
us
a
to
block of
commit
$5,000
at least 5,000, which
for
is
the-
already, it's a little bit under what we budgeted, I think 500. And they will keep us, and we'll just, knowing what we know, we'll have to keep up on it.
Right.
And if they don't get it completed for 5,000, they'll give us an update where we're at and what.
Well, every time we get an update, I'm gonna be asking, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? What can we do to save the money? And once it's cleaned up, you'll get other people in the area that can help us with the reports and things that are required prior to the audit. I've already had people say, but, that's the clerk, so if she wants to do that, that's fine, that's Angie's department, but they don't want to come in and work with somebody else's general ledger if it's not up to par. They're not gonna, they can come in and do the reports, but they're gonna be wrong.
Okay, we have
Good time against bad and all that's good.
we have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any more discussion? All right, we'll have a roll call vote. Ange, when you
Okay,
get a minute.
Kathy,
Yes,
Sue,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Mary Agnes,
Yes.
Angie, no. Or, yeah.
Motion carried. 4-1. Okay. I'm gonna have Kathy keep talking because
Okay.
now we're going to
okay,
foreclose
sorry.
properties that she received a letter from the county.
I received a letter, hold on just a moment.
We're gonna chucker you right out.
I know, Sue said she's gonna bring me candy because
Oh,
I talked to, yeah. This was for forfeitures, and I received paperwork from the St. Clair County Treasurer's Office that they have 3 properties on Carroll Street, one at 9
Yeah.
F8.
Yep.
Thank you. I get 3 different folders here. And I had to, let's see here. Okay, so these are parcels that the county foreclosed on as of April 1st. And they're asking us if we want to take the first bid. They offer the first bid at $1. Let me get my paperwork here. And they sent us the paperwork telling us that we must have, let's see here, any outstanding assessments, and assessments include any delinquent water, sewer, demolitions, bond assessments, blight expenses, or any other expenses on the property that occurred prior to April 1st on our paperwork, April 1st of 2017. And they're giving us the first bid at $1 for each property. We have to reply with the paperwork that's enclosed here prior to June 15th with our answer. If we take the first bid, we do eat whatever expenses we have on those properties, and I listed the expenses that were listed per parcel. Let's see. That would be,
There's 2 vacant lots and one with a
yeah,
house on it.
right, 918 is the house, and that has delinquent water. Sorry, I've got 2 different folders here. I wanted to be able to tell you because Nicole updated the, you can look through there though. But we have the opportunity to obtain them at $1, but we're gonna have to eat anything that's tied to those properties if we do purchase them. And they do have to be used for public, or as a public property. So it would have to be used as a park or something. Yeah, and you can't resell those as anything but to be used as public.
You can sell them,
You
but
get
you can't
after,
make it,
yeah,
you can't make any
anything
money.
other,
Right.
right.
You have to sell it to $1.
I'm learning,
Yeah,
so,
there'd be no
Yeah,
point.
so,
well, that's why I brought it up to you. If we don't take the first bid, then they put it out for private sale, private offer, and whoever purchases the property will have to pay those outstanding waters or assessments as part of the purchase. I know we had somebody come in that was interested, that's been already asking us about it. Yeah. The house on the property's in really bad shape, so that if you did do that, it would have to, you'd have to, Barb says there's a lot of critters crawling around.
It really
and-
looks kind of cute in the picture.
Yeah. So.
That one doesn't show the raccoon waving.
Exactly. But it was presented to us, and, you know, if we, that's the paperwork. If we decide as a board we want to do that, then I have to get that up to them by that date in June with each parcel and any outstanding water bills or assessments, delinquencies.
Okay, tell me what happens if it goes through both?
I don't know.
Sales.
I know you asked me and I don't know at that
Right,
point
well, let's
what
find that
happens.
out.
Yeah.
And then what I would say, if we could make a motion to the effect that if they don't sell it at either auction, we'll take it for $1. Because we're not gonna lose any revenue,
Right, we're still gonna have,
Yeah,
we're still gonna have to eat it. Right.
and that way if we could turn around and at least sell it and give it to somebody to attach to their property that's already there, and that would raise their value, and we'd get reimbursed eventually that way.
That's after two, after the first and second bid, what happens, find out what happened.
Ask
Yeah.
them if we can
Yeah,
be
I
just-
called up there, but I never got an answer back today, so.
So if that would be in the form of a motion,
What was your motion then?
that we tell them that we're interested, but we want to wait till the first and second auctions or bids or whatever they have. And if it doesn't sell at either one of those, that we would take it for $1,
Okay.
each one.
Okay.
Wasn't there something in there where you could sell it to a neighbor or neighboring property? I can't remember.
No, that's not true, because I bought lots of stuff that way.
There was some kind
Yeah.
There's a whole article on there on how the property can be used, and there's the plots, and, the parcel numbers, and all the information on the parcels. On page G, toward the end, it tells you what public use and public person are. So,
So that was my motion. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion, and that, because it is spending $1, could be eventually. All in favor signify by roll call vote, please.
Okay, Kathy,
Yes.
Sue,
of. No.
Tom,
Say no, I just don't understand it. That's where we can put a fire.
I can, yeah, I can explain it maybe better next time. I didn't get all the answers, and it came up
What
quick.
was Tom's answer?
no,
Okay.
it's, yes. So 3 yes. Angie, yes. Angie, yes, yeah. Oh, Mary Agnes, I said you, didn't I?
No.
Oh, Mary Agnes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's getting
Okay.
late.
I know, she's tired. Okay, motion carried on that one, 3-2. I think I skipped one item here, the letter, the approval of the letter of engagement for SBW. is
Yeah,
what
it
we're
was
trying to
S,
do.
yeah, actually, okay.
We've got that handled. Is there any further public comments of anything that has to do with the agenda or anything else we want to hear about?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Steve, my last name's Stahl, S-T-A-H-L. I live on Morrill Road. I need something done about that culvert at 7731 Morrill Road. Every time it rains, it's been flooding my property off. It's been going on 2 years now with the county, and somehow she just got a building permit to put up a brand new barn, but she doesn't have money to fix the culvert. And she's flooding all the neighbors out, and they don't seem to want to fix it. So I don't know if there's anything you guys can do about it.
Thank you.
There's a way we can get her to fix her culvert and address some of the issues that she has going on in her yard. She has a broken down swimming pool in the front yard next to the road. It's been there for over a year now. And these horse parties that she's having are getting out of hand. The last horse party she had, there's probably at least 200 people there, parking down at least a half mile down the road. 2 cars cannot pass on Moore Road when she has her parties going on. And something needs to be done about it. Now she needs a permit. I'd like to see her park only in front of her property and provide parking on her lot for her guests. Not in front of my house, not throwing garbage in my yard, not drinking in front of my house. The last one, they had a little kid urinate on the side of the road. I think it needs to come to an end. I don't know if there's anything you guys can do about it, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stahl. Is it a big enough disaster that we could bring up that resolution again?
Well,
What happened with an attorney looking at that?
they were contacted, actually, I know which property you're talking about, and he called me to ask about why the contract wasn't going through. And he said he wasn't notified that we had tabled it, and he said the road commission's already contacted him and started the process. That's what he told me. He said Mike contacted him, and that they have to send out the 3 notices. It's Mr. Ponke. He was told by our board that we would possibly write a contract out with him, but we tabled it because, well, you know, it was never approved yet. It hasn't been approved. We have different opinions as to why it shouldn't be
I'm
approved.
just curious how they got a permit to put up that brand new barn when this issue has been going on in front of their house for 2 years now.
Now, people with farms can put up those size buildings without only getting zoning compliance with our board. We don't issue a barn permit. They have a whole set of rules for the agriculture.
Does she have over 20 acres?
10.
Well, she only has 10? I think she
Yeah.
bought another 10, because I know that was the,
Bought the parcel next.
yeah, she bought the parcel next door, because I know we told her she couldn't just put up any size building unless she had 20 acres, so.
Is she a bona fide farm too? Does she a bona fide farm over 20 acres to put any size?
Okay, well, evidently
Yeah, unless they're new
she's
ones.
raising horses, she's taking care of horses, so she's probably got hay for feed, so I would say she's,
Well, with her new ordinance, I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
That's what it says. Has to be a bona fide farm over 20 acres to put any size.
but I agree, if these, I don't know, she must have to have some kind of permit to have these large parties. How often is she doing that, do you know?
I think 4 times a year, 3 or 4 times a year now. And in the beginning, it was fine, there may be 10, 15 cars.
Yeah,
Now, it's out of hand.
okay.
It keeps getting worse and worse. And
What does
worse.
she do for bathroom facilities? Does she have a porta
I have no
potty?
idea. She has a porta john,
One?
1 porta john,
For 200 people? Holy
and
cow.
she's feeding them out of the barn too.
Can we get the county put no parking signs on the road?
I
Yeah,
hate to see no parking signs on Wall Road. I mean, I have no, if she wants to park in front of her lot, all the way down to the north end, where there's no houses on that side of the road, that's fine.
on one side of the road,
Or
yeah.
just
On
park
this side
on
of the
one
road.
side of the road.
Yeah, we'll just ask her.
That's
She'll
the
do
one,
that.
the one guy was probably 4 feet beside my driveway, and that's the guy who was drinking out front of my house on a Saturday. And it's out of hand, it really is.
Maybe they could, like you said, that would be,
called at that point,
yeah.
as a neighbor.
Well,
A
I
lot
know.
of neighbors just, they don't want to get involved.
I know that you guys didn't want to go to the expense of fixing that, but I think we have more than one household here that we're having trouble with. And if they, I mean, we're protected, we'll file a lien, it's that simple, you know, it's $14. And I've filled out liens for years, I can draw it up and we can file a lien if she doesn't pay it. But we'll do it immediately, and then what will happen is she'll have till the end of October, or the 1st of October,
Fix
to
it?
pay us. No, to pay us
fix
back.
it.
We'll put it in and it'll be done. And then whatever she doesn't pay, and he agreed to this, it goes on his taxes. And he has till
Friday,
February to do
The whole
it.
yard was flooded again, I couldn't get to my beehives.
I don't know what makes you guys nervous about that, but that's what we do every day, you know?
Because
I
we
think
don't-
it's
Business.
Because
we
of
don't
an
have-
attorney looking at it.
And we don't have, then we're in the loan business. And it can't go on the taxes. We already, unless you make it available, what I was told, it can't go on the taxes unless we make that opportunity available to all the residents, that we'd have to pass.
It's work. When work is performed on a parcel of property, it's a lien on the property.
Well, I checked with our assessor, and she told me that cannot go on on the taxes unless we pass, whether it be an ordinance that would apply to everybody in the township.
There's an
That's what I
agreement.
was told.
There was a written agreement. Did she see the whole thing?
We never had it go in front of we had asked, though, that be presented in front of an attorney, and that was never done.
Well, we don't have an attorney right now.
But we had an attorney
Until
before.
we find one, I mean, are we just gonna, I mean, it's up to you guys, but I think this gentleman has a legitimate complaint, and I know that there's a lot of people on that road that feel the same way.
I just think that the road commission should take that responsibility, and
Well, they will. It takes 2 years from the date they start. So, I don't know if you'll,
Mike says they haven't even started yet?
no.
he has to send out 3 notices because they were, Mike thought that we were doing the contract.
Well, I called Mike the very next morning and told him, I met him right in his office and told him that this was was declined. So, he knew about it right away. I told him, don't buy a tube till I tell you. So,
I don't agree. I just don't think that we haven't checked the legalities of it. And I don't think we should be in the loan business. I think the road commission's set up to do that, and that person has to go through the process.
I just want to bring it up to your attention. I just want you guys to know about what's happening there and how long it's been going on.
Yes, sir, I know that.
And if she needs anything, permits for anything, that this needs to be addressed.
When did they send out, I mean, it would have to be something to check with him. Did the road commission send out any notices yet to him?
I don't know.
Because isn't the process a time process?
Yes, it can't be all sent 1 week apart. They gotta be done over a period of 2 years.
So what was the price that they put in that, to putting it in, the total price?
$1,700, I think.
Did you think about you and maybe your neighbors going down to small claims court with pictures?
It shouldn't get, but it should be.
It should, but,
It
yeah.
shouldn't get to that point.
Yeah,
If it was my culvert and I was flooding her out, it would have been addressed already.
I know.
It's just common decency.
yeah,
You don't do that to your neighbors. We put up with a lot of crap from that,
Right.
It's just, it's not right.
I know, almost should be forced at this
2
point.
years is long enough to save $1,700.
yeah.
Nothing wrong.
Small
It's
claims
quite
is a
an
lot
idea.
faster though.
I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't see an answer right now. Let me work on a different attorney and see if we can find somebody that'll,
Maybe St. Clair County would just force them to do it.
well, they can do that, but
They used to be able to yank the tube out and just throw it in the yard.
Yeah.
They used to do that years ago, but they can't do that
no,
anymore.
they can't do it anymore.
Now they, just in
Fire,
case the fire
medical
department has to
emergency.
get up the driveway.
I suggest to put a board there.
I got a couple more suggestions, but I'm on TV, so.
Yeah,
I thought it
don't
was-
bring those up. I know just how you think.
Yeah.
Mr.
Have you
Kaufman.
called up there and talked to anybody from the road commission about it?
Many times.
Yeah,
Many,
and what,
many, many
they didn't
times.
say anything about letters or notices?
I don't want to go into everything, because there's,
Okay, I don't,
there's a lot of issues with, I know Miss Ponk is, kind of hard to deal with at times. So, I'll leave it at that.
I think that was our fault. We had them both convinced it was because I had preliminary went through with the board at first, and then I got an okay, then I put all the paperwork together, and then I presented it to them, and they said they was,
And every day I was coming home from work thinking, okay, this day, this day. And then that last rain just did it for me. I was done. I couldn't get to my beehives. I couldn't even get here. They're destroying my property.
I'm so sorry,
And
sir.
nothing else. It just keeps coming to an end.
All right,
I'm gonna try to put a coalition of neighbors together to do it, but that's not gonna work.
under announcements, we have Terry Wilmouth working at the St. Clair County Homeland Security Emergency Management Office as an AmeriCorps Points of Light Ready Corps member, and she wants to attend our June 14th meeting and present a 15-minute PowerPoint presentation regarding our township or our community becoming more prepared in the case of emergencies. Board member comments. Kathy, I think you're going to keep talking.
well, this is the first meeting that my deputy treasurer, Nicole Hart, has been here. And I just wanted to give you an update because she's been working on updating all these programs that are in the treasurer's department. And we brought it up before about the delinquent tax program. She's done a fantastic job updating everything, sending out notices. I don't know how many, maybe you want to give them a little synopsis of what you've done so far, but she's collected $10,000 in due taxes from the day we started up through April 30th. And now everything's up to date. We're ready to rock and roll for 17, and all of that accumulation of the paperwork that she had to do is minimized. So
Went from 91 delinquent personal property notices down to 6, and out of those 6, 3 of them are from 2010 still, and when we have a lawyer, they'll get, to the courts and written off and get off our books, but, we collected, a majority of those were from Shangri-La, And I've been working with Dan at Shangri-La, and we came to a resolution and collected almost $5,000 just with that. So that was just recently. And before that was, I think, the Westbrook Farms over there and a couple other big ones that were like thousands of dollars. Oh, and the Seaway.
Seaway, yeah.
The Seaway Inn, so.
Yeah, so all of that was done before they were,
Yeah, 'cause there was
demolition.
delinquents all the way back to, 2010,
right,
that weren't, being followed up on. So we had to go through a process of getting notifications, so 3 months worth of that and following up and
right.
trying.
Mailings and, yeah, so she did a great job,
She does a great job.
yeah,
We're very lucky to have her.
yeah.
Thank you, Nicole.
And I'll finish up.
And Seaway is all done? I haven't gone back there.
Yeah, it's all cleaned up.
Glad, yeah.
All the treasure training.
And I'll just, and I'm done, I promise, this is the last of it. Well, I want to keep you updated because we did sign up for those classes. We have to watch them online, and yours is not working, the audio, so
Yeah, on my computer.
I used my iPad, and I watched the first program, and I had it was a little dry information, but I did pick up a lot of good things, and that was just the first class. You have to finish each class at a time. So I'm done with the first class, I have 4 more to go. And then I also spent 5 hours on Saturday. You were here, but I spent 5 hours with Corinne. Corinne's my daughter, and she's the accounts payable clerk at East China. She's a bookkeeper, she's worked treasurer's office. So she's giving me training. I offered it out to others if they wanted to participate. Nicole's going to come in from time to time and start learning to do the bank recs together so that she can do them if I'm not here for some reason. So that's my update.
Very good. Any other board comments?
Update on the saw grant? Everything getting going forward? Sorry? Everything going forward on the saw grant, everything on schedule?
Yes.
Okay. Did we ever, the state park, we don't sell them water, but we get all their waste? Do we ever think we should put a gallon meter on that end of it to see? I mean, we're not getting anything for the sewage that they're putting in? Is that,
Oh, no, they
oh, they do pay?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I was misunderstood that. I thought it was calculated off their water use.
No.
How much we got paid
No, I
for
think it's
sewage.
metered.
Okay.
I always used the meter when I was working in the clerk's office. So, we had a little problem with that for a while because they'd been billing them for 10 years, water too, and they were paying it. So, when I fixed that mistake, then they didn't have to pay anything for a long time because we didn't want to write a check either, so
Yeah.
we worked it off.
Okay.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Eric? You were in the payables, your Huron Consultants, that was all approved at a previous meeting and all of the invoices were approved, so.
Thank you. We weren't concerned about that. We appreciate it. I'll give you any information you'd like to know. If you have any questions, I don't really have anything to offer. It's ongoing on a day-to-day basis, and
We haven't seen any problems that jump right out at you where we got a break or a separation where we're getting a lot of that water from?
I'm sorry, I can't come closer.
We'll let you.
We haven't found any major breaks or separations in the sewer line where we're getting all that infiltration from?
Well, we know there are infiltration issues. Chris will tell you that. I'm sure he knows.
Sure, after that
Yeah,
last 3 inches of rain.
there's infiltration in a lot of these videos, but remember, the videos were also done in October. If they're done at a dry time, we may not see all that infiltration. When the meters are purchased, of course, that's when we'll be able to take your metering data. We know how much water went into the system. Right now, we've got about 150% running through the pumps. So that's 33% of your flow is inflow and infiltration on an annual basis. So that comes from, let's say, one event a month, versus your average flow which are metered, you have that as a measured value, and then you have your pump metering to Marine City, so you know what's leaving the township. So it's 150%. That's significant. So.
And once all those other meters are in place, we'll be able to pinpoint between which pump stations.
In the end, the asset management plan and the capital improvement plans will target anything rated a number 5, which is the worst condition. So, once the software comes in and we populate all that, we'll know how many feet of number 5 pipe needs to be replaced first and foremost. Then number 4, number 3, 1s and 2s are good. Those are a 20-year, 20 years out to maintain those.
I'm sorry, did you say that you ordered the meters?
I'm sorry.
Did you purchase the meters? Yeah?
No, I just sent that email the other day.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering, did you hear back from Chris at all?
Special meeting, I didn't get any response.
Okay, either did I, okay, just wondering.
I'll revisit that tomorrow. Any emails that have gone unanswered.
Yeah, okay.
As you can see, I've been in the field. I look forward to being in the office tomorrow. So.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Craig, have you got anything you want to question or add to the Riverfront Park that we didn't cover?
We cut it. We own it. As of last year, when I met with the EPA person, they still had to sign off and give the park to us because they were still maintaining it. They still said it was wonderful looking with all its weeds.
I think it looks wonderful there.
Yeah, it looked
It
nice,
does,
I
it looks
saw
very
it.
nice.
It looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, it does.
And I saw 2 people passed it 3 or 4 times. One said family was fishing right off the edge. Another lady said she walks it every day with her dog.
Oh.
And it's the best place to collect glass along the river. She collects glass, whatever it's for, art projects and that.
Yeah.
And it looks nice now. Kyle still has to weed whack around it, but now that it's cut, but it's gonna have to be cut probably every 10 days, because I cut it once before when we staked it. And then when Kyle cut it last weekend, it's still grown 2 or 3 inches. Maybe in July and August it'll slow down a little bit, but right now it's growing quite a bit, so it has to be cut quite regularly, and that's something you're gonna have to work into to take care of later on. Right now, we're taking care of it. We decided we'll take care of it because we're only about 10 houses down.
Did they ever say what kind of wildflowers they put in there?
They have,
I think there's a list right behind you on that
Yeah, I
wall.
don't know if I ever saw them. I know that they had shrubs in there, but, and do they go all the way up to the road, or? There was
No,
some,
there's
there was some
different
nice, there was some nice clover in there.
Here's a map of what's on it. River, 3 sections, and it also tells what they planted
Oh, okay.
in these certain spots.
Nice to have
Yeah,
that.
I wondered about flowers, if there were certain ones. 'cause
It's
when I
not
was
really
in there
flowers,
last
they're
year-
basically thistles and weeds.
Well, wildflowers are flowers.
I know.
To a lot of people, they're weeds, but they are flowers.
You got it,
Yeah, I had one three. Yeah, okay, this is the road. Because I know that there's supposed to be so much cut.
This is what's supposed to be cut, this was supposed to be cut, these 2 sections were not supposed to be.
Yeah, but are you cutting it now? Oh, okay. So whatever.
Parks and Rec Board has decided that it looks a lot better and you're gonna get a lot more use out of it
Yeah.
if it is cut. And we also, did a thing on the news about how many millions of ticks there are.
The ticks, yes.
And that grass is 3 foot tall, and so nobody.
And they're out there.
Okay. Then I guess we'll entertain a motion to adjourn?
I motion.
Oh, you got something else to say? I'm sorry, Mr. Barnes.
Good, this is good, really good. it's on a good note.
You're always good, Mr. Barnes.
Well, I don't know.
Even when you're bad, you're pretty good.
I think it was a couple of meetings ago, or last meeting, I asked about the gentleman Codette over there, Al Codette, that, you know, bought the
Cherry Beach,
yeah. And we had okayed his liquor license a couple of years ago, and I was wondering if they ever opened. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, he opened. And we went there tonight, and I saw him, and I talked to him, and I told him I would recommend it, I would give it a 10-star rating instead of just a 5. It was fantastic. I mean, you got more than you could eat, and he was out there barbecuing, and I don't used to like barbecue ribs, but they were falling off the bones. You go to pick them up, and they fell right off. And I told him I was going to mention it to everybody, that they should go and pay attention to what a good job he did. And you'll be amazed that there's nothing that you can look at. You'd never see any walls. I mean, it's one to be all records, and one will be all something else. But it's fantastic. I think everybody should go and see it.
How much were the ribs?
It was a half a slab, I think it was $12.99, I think. Yeah, and that's your meal, your whole meal.
They were good.
And everything was, I thought was
You're not gonna
fantastic.
give him the Foxfire, this Foxfire fixins?
Yeah, whatever.
Foxfire fixins.
Yeah, well, he's fixed it up all right. I think he got picked up all our used chairs and stuff they got put out in the garbage and refurbished them.
All right, well, we thank you very much for that, I know Mr. Codette will be happy.
I know, I told him, and he was happy tonight because it was wonderful.
Okay, very good. Now may I ask for a motion for
Here's another
adjourn?
young man that said it was wonderful. He went on this Sunday.
Very
So I
good,
told him I was going to mention it tonight because I had asked him about it a while back.
thank you.
There's been a lot of cars out there.
You could bring a sampler maybe the next time you come.
Yeah.
No, I can tell you, there won't be no sample.
All right, motion to adjourn, please? I'll
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll
We
second.
have a motion and adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Thank you, everybody.
Everybody did good.